Hey everybody, it's George Whittam reporting for Whittam's World here at NAB 2015, and I could not miss the Adobe booth because they have one of my favorite DAWs ever, Adobe Audition. Durin's here to demonstrate a couple of key features that if you're doing audiobook narration, you're gonna want to know about because it's going to save a huge amount of time. So, how you doing, Durin?
I'm doing great. So you were asking me a couple minutes ago about loudness correction for audiobook or voiceover production and meeting those regulations of getting the right RMS level, or for broadcast television, broadcast radio now it's really LUFS based. But we've offered those tools for several versions. They're really easy to use. You can do it manually, but you can also really get in there and just do it automatically in a batch process and set it and forget it.
In the world of audiobooks, if you're self-producing, they get paid by what's called the finished hour.
Right.
So if it's a 10-hour book, you're getting paid for 10 hours of. So yeah, so you want to streamline.
Save a couple seconds. You're making extra money.
Yeah.
So I'll be happy to show you. So I have in this case, it's a couple of music files, but the concept's the same. I have my files all in the panel. We have a panel called Match Volume, which is located under Window, Match Volume. And so once that's open, you can just select and drag your panels in there. You can scan, and you can see we're doing a scan, and we'll scan based on how many simultaneous scans based on how many cores your CPU supports. So if you have an 8-core machine, we'll scan 8 files all at once, so you can really cut down on time that way as well. So we'll show you a bunch of values when we analyze it. So you'll see your RMS, your peak values, and you can come in here and you can choose what we want to match to. So if you need to match to total RMS or a true peak amplitude, you can select those values, and then you can come in here, set those settings that your publisher or your station requires, and then just hit go if it's
yeah, for example, an ACX, that's an Audible company,
right.
They say we want peak levels to be around -3 and RMS levels to be around -20.
No problem. Let's come in here. We're going to set this for -20, and we'll use limiting, and we'll just hit run. And what's going to happen is we're going to we're going to fix the video audio for those. We're going to show you what the corrections that were done to the file. In case this one was reduced by -3.5 dB. Our total RMS on each of these 20.0, rock solid. Should be able to hit save, send them off to the publisher, and be good to go.
A lot of us have been big fans of Isotope RX, but I know you guys are baking in more and more tools that kind of supplement or even replace Isotope. I mean, you guys are getting pretty good. So
well, we've had a lot of those we've had for 15 years or more.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm happy to show those. I'll make a quick recording right here at the booth. So this is a terrible environment for recording, but I do have a pretty good microphone on the desktop here. As you can see, I'm using the split screen view, so we have the waveform view up here and our spectral frequency view down here. And you can see where I'm talking. Lots more energy, it's bright and yellow, and my harmonics are up here. But behind me here is this purple and this dark red. That's the noise of this environment, and it's pretty noisy here. So we have several tools. One of our most popular is our noise reduction tool, our noise reduction effect, which is right under the effects noise reduction menu. And this allows me to come in here and identify a region of my recording that's just noise that doesn't have me speaking in it. So if I come in here, I look at this, I can see, visually I can see that there's nothing here, but if I was listening to it, if this area was amenable to quality listening, we'd hear that there's really no speaking, it's just background noise. So I've identified this, I can capture this as a noise print. And this noise print is telling the application, this is what the sound I want you to take out. Anything that doesn't really fit this profile, leave it behind. So if I unselect the whole file, you can see in this preview view, this is the original, this is the process view, this is what we're doing to the file. So at this point, you can see that there's big reductions in this overall. This is probably good enough. However, if I was listening to it, I might want to come in and tweak these settings a little bit, reduce them down, and actually with this effect, you can get significantly better results doing 2 to 3 passes at only about 20 to 30% reduction each pass. So you're doing a much lighter pass each time, taking a new noise print and applying it again, and you're getting a much more natural reduction. You're getting less artifacts. You're getting less of that metallic warbly sound that you might get if you try to do a heavy process in one big pass.
So this works great for broadband background noise that's sort of consistent. Let's say you're during an audiobook chapter. It's an hour long. You're sitting down editing. At some point along the way, you hear a dog. It might be a house away, but you hear a distinct.
Sure. Absolutely.
What the heck do you do about it?
We have a couple tools for that, and that's really good to tackle here in this spectral view. And this is where you can almost use Photoshop style tools to paint anomalies and unwanted sounds away. So if we look down here, if you can see right here, but see the cursor there. But let's say this was the dog sound right here. If I listen to it, yep, that's a dog. I want to get rid of that. Now I can make some selections and kind of isolate where in that frequency spectrum that dog's bark lives. So if I hit play, I'm only listening to around 400 to 700 hertz right there. I can come in and tighten that down and say, yeah, that's what I want to get rid of.
But that takes a good deal of skill as an engineer. Like, you'd have a little bit of engineering chops, right, to do to narrow that in.
Well, initially it seems a little intimidating, but the tools are such that if you're familiar with Photoshop and you can kind of see what you're hearing, and you can play around a little bit. And so some of the tools you can come around and you can just kind of come in and just paint those out. And we'll look at the surrounding frequencies around what we just removed, fill in that space so you're not getting any digital silence, you're not getting gaps in your sound, you're not getting that hollow sound of something being sucked out. You're getting this just general, nice, natural sounding removal of that. And yeah, it can take a little work, but that's why we're professionals.
That's right. So is that the auto heal function?
That's the auto heal, that's the spot healing brush that we offer. Similar tools, you can go and make selections and then apply other effects on them. So if you have a high frequency buzz or a 60 hertz hum on your recording, you can get in there and really take those out very, very, almost with a razor.
Now, I've heard the occasional problem where someone has a recording issue with their equipment they didn't catch. In one case, a long USB cable caused some bizarre RFI to get in the recording. And in one case, the sound went, it changed in pitch.
Yeah.
And you could see it in the wave. You saw a line going like this, and then it go. How do you get rid of that?
We'll fake it real quick, but then you can see kind of the same thing happen here. So we're gonna make it appear as if that was happening. So now we have this terrible, terrible hum. I'm not gonna play it because we're gonna blow out our ears, but. One of the tools, and actually the tool I made to make this happen, but I'll show you what we can do. We can take this the paintbrush selection tool, and we can kind of come in, and you can use the brackets greater than and less than to change the size of that brush. And if I kind of come in, and I just draw over that, and it doesn't necessarily need to be over all of it, but just some of it. Now I could just delete it out, but again, that's going to leave some hollow sound, and this is a far too big of a selection for our spot healing. But we do have another noise reduction tool called the sound remover, and this is based off a new technology called source separation, which is a geek's term for, actually this is the geek's term, mathematically defining and separating sources of sound in a recording, and then doing something with them. So the first really kind of initiative that we've done with this technology is the sound remover. So this is really good for removing distinct sounds, not broadband background noise, but distinct sounds that such as sirens, such as hums that change over time, but that are characteristic and that overlap with other audio. So in this case, I'll open the sound remover effect, and I'll tell it to learn this sound model. I've made that selection. I've said this is what I want you to identify as a source of sound, in this case that we're going to try and remove. So once it's open, I can kind of get rid of my selection, and we can come in here, and we do have a couple presets, and in this case, I'm going to remove siren, because it's kind of a siren effect. It's higher pitched, it changes over time, and you can see that we're removing that siren sound mostly. There's a little bit of artifacts, and we may go up and clean that up afterward, but we're doing it without affecting other frequency information that happens in those areas. So it's not always going to be perfect. Sometimes you just can't unbake the cake, but for quite a lot of projects, this is an amazing tool for pulling that stuff out.
That's huge, because if you used auto heal right, it would just leave a hole, basically a black line, right? And whatever audio was there is gone.
It's gone.
Well, thanks, man. I know there's tons more to learn on this software, but I encourage everybody to demo this software. No-brainer.
Come to our user forum, check out our blog. We're putting out new tutorials and new training information all the time.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it, Durin.
Thanks.
All right, take it easy.